everyone, welcome to our second video. In this video, we'll redefine our problem statement, that is data privacy, and we will provide list of alternative solutions to this serious problem. So let's get straight into it. Website hacked, data of millions of users leaked. It feels like every day we hear about a new data breach. So what does it mean? Speaking in broad terms, a data breach happens when sensitive data falls into the hands of someone who has no business handling it. The release of data can also be unintentional. Usually, we hear of data breaches when a company fails to keep its data secure. Surprisingly, this spells more trouble for us. Why? You leave a lot of information online, like how old you are, what you like, how much you earn, what you buy. This data is precious to any advertiser. That is why various websites and apps collected it, making hackers' life much easier. In one attack, they can steal hundreds of millions of collected details, your personal details. What can you do to be more secure? Well, beside using strong passwords and avoiding malware, you have to be stingy with your personal data.
What is data privacy? Data privacy generally means the ability of a person to determine for themselves when and how what extent personal information about them is shared with or communicated to others. This personal information can be one's name, location, contact information, or online or real world behavior. Just as someone may wish to exclude people from a private conversation, many online users want to control or prevent certain types of personal data collection. As internet usage has increased over the year, so has the importance of data privacy. Website application and social media platforms often need to collect and store personal data about users in order to provide service. However, some applications and platforms may exceed users' expectation from data collection and usage, leaving users with less privacy than they realized. Others app may not be placed adequate safeguards around data they collect, which can result in data privacy that compromises user privacy. Thank you. Next, I would like to call Aman to continue from here.
Thanks for calling. Now you people know what is data privacy, so let's discuss why data privacy is important. Many jurisdictions, privacy is considered a fundamental human right, and data protection law exists to guard that right. Data privacy is also important because in order for an individual to be willing to engage online, they have to trust that their personal data will be handled with care. Organizations use data protection practices to demonstrate to their customer and user that they can be trusted with their personal data. Personal data can be misused in a number of ways if it is not kept private or if people don't have the ability to control how their information is used. For example, criminals can use personal data to defraud or harass users. Entities may sell personal data to advertisers or other outside parties without user consent, which can result in user receiving unwanted marketing or advertising. When a person's activities are tracked and monitored, they may restrict their ability to express themselves freely, especially under repressive governments. As technological advancements have improved data collection and surveillance capabilities, governments around the world have started passing law regulating what kind of a data can be controlled about users, how that data can be used, and how data should be stored and protected. Some of the most important regulatory privacy frameworks to know include General Data Protection Regulation (GDPR) regulate how the personal data of European Union data subjects, meaning individuals, can be collected, stored and processed, and give data subject right to control their personal data, including a right to be forgotten. National Data Protection Law. Many countries such as Canada, Japan, Australia, Singapore and others have comprehensive data protection law in some form. Some like Brazil's General Law of Protection of Personal Data and UK's Data Protection Act are quite similar to GDPR. California Consumer Privacy Act (CCPA) required that consumer be made aware of what personal data is collected and give consumer control over the personal data, including right to tell owners and not to sell their personal data. There are also industry-specific privacy guidelines in some countries. For instance, in United States, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act (HIPAA) governs how personal healthcare data should be handled. However, many privacy advocates argue that individuals still do not have the sufficient control over what happens to their personal data. Governments around the world may pass additional data privacy law in the future. Thank you.
Thanks for calling. Big data is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Many companies have started gathering private user data and selling it to the highest bidder. Data privacy is the right of any internet user, but the ability to trust companies with private data is slimming. In 2017, Facebook violated its users' privacy by tracking their browsing history even after they logged out. Many corporations, such as Amazon, use smart devices like Alexa to collect data using surveillance tactics to push targeted ads, location-based services. On the weekend of March 17, there were a series of reports gathered from major publications such as the New York Times and The Guardian exposing the most recent data privacy scandal. Cambridge Analytica, US and UK, a data marketing firm operating under parent organization SCL Elections Limited, managed to capture non-authorized personal information from 87 million Facebook profiles. More recently, Microsoft experienced a data breach where customer support, including 280 million Microsoft customer records, was left unprotected on the web, disclosing the email address, IP address, and support case details. 1 month later, MGM reports expressed the data breach as well as where 10.6 million hotel guests who have seen the MGM reports and their personal information posted on a hacking forum. Criminals have a long history of conducting cyber espionage on China's behalf. Protected from prosecution by their affiliations with China's Ministry of State Security, criminals turned government hackers conduct many of China's espionage operations. Alarming as it may sound, this is not a new phenomenon. Titan Rain. In 2004, an analyst named Sean Carpenter at Sandia National Laboratories traced the origins of a massive cyber espionage ring back to a team of government province in China. The hackers, codenamed by the FBI Titan Rain, stole massive amounts of information from military labs, NASA, the World Bank, and others. Rather than being rewarded, Carpenter was fired and investigated after revealing his findings to the FBI because hacking foreign computer is illegal under US law. He later sued and was awarded more than $3 million. The FBI renamed Titan Rain and classified the new name. The group is still assumed to be operating. State Department's East Asia Bureau. In July 2006, the State Department admitted it had become a victim of cyber hacking after an official in East Asia accidentally opened an email he shouldn't have. The attackers worked their way around the system, breaking into computers at US embassies all over the region and then eventually penetrating systems at Washington as well. Offices of Representative Frank Wolf. Wolf has been one of the most outspoken lawmakers on Chinese human rights issues, so it was of little surprise when he announced that in August 2006, his office computer has been compromised and that he suspected the Chinese government. Wolf also reported that similar attacks had compromised the system of several other congressmen and the office of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Commerce Department. The Commerce Department Bureau of Industry and Security had to throw away its entire computer in October 2006, paralyzing the bureau for more than a month due to targeted attacks originated from China. BIS is where export licenses for technology items to other countries like China are issued. Naval War College. In December 2006, the Naval War College in Rhode Island had to take all of its computer system offline for weeks following a major cyber attack. One professor at the school told his students that the Chinese had brought down the system. The Naval War College is where much military strategy against China is developed. Commerce Secretary and the 2003 blackout. A National Journal article revealed that spying software meant to steal personal data was found on the devices of then Commerce Secretary Carlos and several other officials. Following a trade mission to China traced the cause of the massive 2003 Northeast blackout back to PLA, but some analysts question the connection. McCain and Obama presidential campaigns. That's right. Both the campaigns of then Senators Barack Obama and John McCain were completely invaded by cyber spies in August 2008. The Secret Service forced all the campaign senior staff to replace their Blackberries and laptops. The hackers were looking for policy data as way to predict the positions of the future winner. Data is also frequently used to track users' location. This data is sold to marketing companies to analyze what users do and to push targeted ads. Location-based data can also be breached by unwanted third parties and used for other purposes. This makes data insecure, which also makes collecting it unethical. Selling users' information is a breach of trust with the user and is considered unethical by many parties. Unfortunately, these same large companies keep pushing the bounds of ethics in the technology field. Next, I would like to call Apurv to continue from here.
Types of data breaching. Data breaches have been all over the news lately. There are 3 different types of data breaches: physical, electronic, and skimming. They all share the same amount of risk and consequences, but are unique in execution. It is important to know the differences in the type of data breaches because they require actions such as document shredding and electronic media destructive services so that data remains secure. Skimming involves the capture and recording of magnetic strip data on the back of credit cards. This process uses an external device that is sometimes installed on a merchant's POS without their knowledge. It can also involve an dishonest employee utilizing an external device to collect the card magnetic stripe data. An electronic breach is an unauthorized access or deliberate attack on the system or network environment where cardholder data is processed, stored, or transmitted. This can be a result of acquiring access via web server or website to a system vulnerability through the application level attack. Common cyber attacks used in data breaches are ransomware, which is software that gain access and lock down access to vital data; malware, which is any program or code that is harmfully probes systems; phishing attacks, which are fraudulent emails are sent that appear to be from a reputed company with the goal of deceiving recipient into either clicking on a malicious link or download an infected attachments. Password attack. Password attacks are a combination of brute force attacks that are used to gain access to insecure password. A hacker uses a program that tries multiple passwords to get access to a user data until a password works and finally denial of service when a machine or network resource is unavailable to its intended user by temporarily or indefinitely disrupting services of a host connected to the network.
Here are a few best practices to avoid a data breach. Patching and updating software as soon as options are available. High-grade encryption for sensitive data. Upgrading devices when the software is no longer supported by the manufacturer. Enforcing BYOD security policies, like requiring all devices to use a business-grade VPN service and antivirus protection. Enforcing strong credentials and multi-factor authentication to encourage better user cybersecurity practices. Encouraging users to start using a password manager can help. Educating employees on best security practices and ways to avoid socially engineered attacks. Evaluate risk of third parties. Monitoring all network access. Establish identity and access management policies. Thank you everyone and stay tuned for our next video.
Listen!